Welcome to the Valhalla Filmcast, a show where normal guys talk about the films that they love. And here are your hosts, Bryce Thompson, Brian Hammond, and Cody Ryrie. Now get ready, because the show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Valhalla Filmcast. I am Bryce Thompson. I am here with Brian Hammond and Cody Ryrie.
Yeah.
Hey.
We were having a Marvel argument right before the microphone went on. I'm
So
still
Cody's
a little ticked about
Cody's
that.
a little down.
So anyway, sorry, we'll get to our topic and fine, but that's why I'm going to be contentious this whole time.
Oh, great.
Do you know,
we set
Bryce
him up.
said he hates Spider-Man. People out there be shocked that somebody who says they like movies hates
I
Spider-Man.
hate Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
That's probably
I
should be
hate
his
Spider-Man 3.
James Spider-Man.
See, I don't... Spider-Man's, like, there's so many other superheroes that are a billion
You know what? Your
times
mom,
better.
your mother, went to see Civil War in the same theater with me in St. Anthony and actually put on Facebook that she thought Spider-Man was the best part of the whole thing. Your mother.
Good?
I totally
Your
thought you were going to
DNA
insult him
origin.
with the your mom joke. I totally thought you were going to
See,
insult him.
that doesn't count for anything, though.
Wow, does your mom probably listens to this. You should be careful.
I don't know. She probably doesn't anymore.
Just downloads it to help you.
I don't even think she does
yeah.
that. But no, I don't like Spider-Man. Anyways, this is not even what this is about.
I know. All right, fine.
Goodness.
It's off my chest. We can
See
keep
those
going.
Marvel likers. They say that DC's all contentious.
It kind of is. Or trailer, right? Is that what we're talking about?
It's true. Oh yeah, we are.
That's true.
That's
okay.
true. That's
yes.
what brought it up.
Segue. There we go.
We saw the trailer. There you go.
So today we're going to talk about trailers and what they're about, how some might think they've gotten a little out of hand in recent years, what their purpose is. So yeah, let's start and we'll let Cody begin and take it away.
Okay, so this is something that we want to talk about for a while is, like Bryce was saying, have trailers kind of gotten out of hand. Now, we're going to talk about all things trailers in this show, not just that, but we're going to start with that. For the perfect example, Spider-Man Homecoming just had a trailer drop, as they say. Actually, that reminds me, a small detour here. The first trailer I ever watched on my computer was Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I remember, and there was people, they said that that weekend it had been announced what movies that Episode 1 trailer was going to be playing before, and those movies saw a boost in their box office, and they reported a bunch of people going in to see the trailer, buying tickets, going in, and then leaving the theater before the movie happened.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
But it came online. I remember it took me like 2 hours to download it, and it was like VCR quality on my little, But that was the thing, and now everybody watches their trailers on the internet. That's at least where I see them. And the thing that's gotten crazy about it, with Spider-Man as an example, there was a trailer for the trailer that came out 2 days before that said, here's 2 seconds, literally 2 or 3 seconds, 1 or 2 shots from the trailer, and the trailer's going to drop this day.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make the trailer into a movie event.
Well,
you know?
they had that with not Spider-Man. Get in my brain. Batman vs Superman.
Yes,
You had the little snippet oh hey, trailer's coming, and you're like, okay, just show us the trailer and get over yourselves. But I was excited. I was like, dude, trailer, and I was waiting for it and looking forward to it. And so
I'm not one to criticize Marvel's success. I can criticize it for other reasons, but not for its success. So if they want to have a trailer for a trailer, I mean, they're doing something right. Yeah. So maybe they're onto the right thing. I don't know.
Well, and I don't know. Here's the thing that I find interesting too, and this discussion is going to go into the big blockbusters mostly, because when you have, I don't know if y'all remember the trailer for A Serious Man. It was this Coen Brothers movie, and the movie itself is very unorthodox. It's a very weird movie, and the trailer did not make me want to see the movie either. It was very, very odd and strange. So when we're talking about these low budget kind of off market movies, they're marketed in a very different way. The issues I have with trailers are all big budget trailer issues. So I kind of want to stick with that, at least for the beginning of the conversation. I think if we go back to Star Wars, which we're having a big thing now, Star Wars, it's interesting, they say in China, when it was trying to sell Star Wars, because the original Star Wars movies didn't come out in China, or they barely were ever shown in China, and so the trailers had to explain what Star Wars was, as well as sell it to people. And we have that now in the U.S. with these Star Wars spin-offs. I remember, and this is interesting, as I showed it to my mom, the Rogue One trailer. It's like, oh, look, it's more Star Wars. And she was so confused. She's like, wait, but is that the girl from the new one? Is that the this and that? And it's a real concern that you can't just preach to the converted with a trailer. Sometimes you have to educate them as well. And this is a new thing that we haven't had before with all these serialized storytelling that's happening over and over and over again. Anyway, just a thought. But,
yeah, and I mean, my wife, who likes Star Wars way more than I do, like, I would say I'm like not a huge Star Wars fan, but she's watched them all, knows them all, and she didn't even know about Rogue One.
Yeah, see?
She was like, Rogue One, what's this? And she didn't even she's not very interested in it. You know, she's like, this is dumb, let's just stick to what we know. But
it'll be interesting to see how it fares in the box office.
Yes.
Longevity and opening weekend as well.
Well, a lot of it has to do with how well the trailers are received. And you notice with the recent trailers, what they've been doing is they just show Star Wars iconography. So, like, here are our new heroes, yay! But forget that. Here's a Star Destroyer. Here's the Death Star. Here's Darth Vader. You know, really hammering home this is Star Wars. And a lot of trailers, that's all they do is they have a little snippet of the story, and then it's action shot, action shot, action shot. An exception to the rule, and you all remember this, I think, is the trailers for Inception. When they came out, I remember that first teaser for Inception is, in my opinion, the perfect trailer. Because it has Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's like, we invade your mind, or, you know, just barely giving a hint of what the movie's about. And then it shows a glass of water with the water tilted, like, at a 45-degree angle. It shows a top spinning, and then it shows, like, a cityscape. And it had that, you know, that blah thing that's so popular now. A trailer, like I said, should pique your interest. It shouldn't tell you the whole story of the movie.
Yes.
That's another problem I have with trailers, is they give away too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my biggest. That's what I don't like, especially the comedies. They're the worst.
Yes, all the good jokes.
All the good jokes. And some of the good jokes aren't even in the movie.
That's true.
And you're like, I'm going to go see it because before that is probably so funny. When they tell that joke, it's probably even funnier. And then you're like, that wasn't even in it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, we saw all the funny parts. And so that's my biggest grief with trailers, and I usually avoid them, especially with a movie that I'm really excited to see. I'll avoid trailers.
I'm in the exact same boat. I mean, the standard format now is like, what, 2 minutes 30? That's too long. I don't even want to watch them. I love teaser trailers. I love the 30-minute TV trailers or whatever, because it just gives you, just the gist of whether this is for me or it's not. I guess that's a perfect segue into one of the trailers I wanted to talk about was Paranormal Activity. And the reason I like this so much is because that was released kind of at the height of this trailer frenzy where, all these trailers are just giving, you have fatigue of giving too much information at once. And so when I saw Paranormal Activity trailer, I wanted to see it, obviously, but I thought, oh, crap, well, all the scary parts are shown. But what was unique about that one is none of the scenes used in that trailer were in the movie at all. So they shot scenes specifically for the trailer, and so none of the jump scares were even in the trailer. Those shots were not in there at all. And so it was really I loved it, and that's the perfect trailer for me as far as giving away too much information.
Kind of what it's about.
Yeah,
but
you get the tone.
Yeah.
That's interesting. If I was going to pick if we're going with horror movie trailers, when Brian and I went to Los Angeles, we went to Tarantino's theater. One of the things they do that was really cool there is they show old movie trailers that are kind of related thematically to whatever you're watching. And we were going to see Alien that night, and they showed the trailer, and it's probably my favorite trailer from The Shining. And it's so simple, and yet it's so perfect because it's the shot of the elevators. And the credits roll up of this is based on Stephen King's novel, so you know that. By Stanley Kubrick, so you know that. And then the blood starts to pour out of the elevators in slow motion, that really, really creepy, for some reason, so disquieting thing. It comes up, goes over the camera, done.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, and here's the thing. At that time, you were not allowed to show blood in an advertisement for a movie. And so he lied to the people and said it was rusty water.
Yeah. That's believable.
They either didn't care and they just needed an excuse, or they're just
really dumb.
Yeah.
Really, really dumb. Yes, yeah.
Like, why would there be rusty water? Like, do you not know what this is about at all?
It's a mechanics
Creepiest
movie.
music ever behind it. Yeah. And
Oh no, the rust water.
so that's just a tease. You're like, what the crap? You know,
Yeah.
it should. The rule in show business and in trailers should leave you wanting more.
Yeah.
You shouldn't feel satisfied after a trailer.
Yeah.
It's
You know?
interesting you bring up the new Beverly Code because all the trailers there were mainly from the 70s and
Kind of little works of art.
yeah,
You know?
and they were all. I mean, what was the other one we saw?
There was Exorcist, which almost
was,
gave me a seizure. Yeah,
yeah, which was kind of the same thing. It didn't give away plot points, but it gave you this feeling of
It was-
dread.
Yes, yeah.
And
Oh.
and so yeah, I know it's a scary movie. I want to see it. You know, that's all I needed to see. And and
Well,
if it were
yeah.
made today, they would have ruined it.
Well, and that Exorcist trailer, part of its history as well, it played in front of a couple of movies, and it was so disturbing to people apparently that they ripped it out of theaters. They pulled it out.
You know what I've heard,
So-
and this may be in conjunction with that. I don't know if this is true. I have not been able to verify it, but I remember reading somewhere that he actually inserted subliminal messaging. It was in the craze of advertising, and people realizing you could put images in that would, you know, affect the subconscious. And so they had put images of car wrecks, inner space, just one cell, one individual frame, and to give you this eerie feeling. And they had to pull it, and I wonder if that's why they did pull it.
Maybe.
So maybe there is some truth to that, but that is a rumor that I've heard. Haven't been able to verify it.
And
Take
then
it
the
for
last
what it's
trailer
worth.
that we saw that night was for Alien, for the movie we were seeing, and it was also a work of art. It was you didn't get much of the story at all. But you got a whole lot of people in horrible distress running down hallways, and there was an alarm that was going off the whole trailer. And you know, we're kind of physiologically designed to, like, an alarm goes off and you're like, you know, like, and that's what it did. It used that just primal response to get you interested in the film, which, so they were all little mini works of art. Now compare that. You should wait for this. Okay, you ready? I'm gonna trash something Marvel did.
Oh,
Listen up, everyone. Listen.
Not the movie, but the trailer. Now, the trailer for the last Captain America movie, Civil War, came out. It was a big deal. I watched it, and I was like, oh, it looks so good. I'd seen it 2 or 3 times with different people. And then when I went to see the film, they have this... If you haven't... I'm not going to spoil it. This is kind of a spoiler. There's a whole big conflict that develops in the middle of the film, and then that conflict resolves itself. And you think everybody's friends again, and then a big reveal happens, this huge shock, and they're not friends again. That was ruined by the trailer because I saw the big conflict, and the conflict resolved itself, but I had seen in the trailer a much more vicious fight between these people, and I was like, well, no, that still has to happen. Does that make sense? Has that ever happened to you all? That you watch a trailer, and then you're like, well, but this hasn't happened yet. Because I saw that in the trailer. Frickin' ruined that first experience with the movie.
Well, that's my biggest grief about trailers is... if you're going to show a trailer, just show the very beginning of the movie.
That's what I think. I think you should have a moratorium. Past 30 minutes in, you can't use a scene for the trailer.
Well, no, because
you know,
I don't remember. I forget trailers because my memory is horrible. But there's trailers where you're watching it and it's like when they like change. You know, like the person has a big change.
Yes,
and they're showing like bits of it in the trailer, and you're like, but wait, the movie is about their change, and it's like a suspenseful movie to know if they actually do, but you just showed me that they do in the trailer. Stop. And it'd be interesting to talk to someone who like designs these trailers and why they do that. Like, why do they feel they need to put all this information in there? Like, is that really what people like to see and want to see?
I want to talk about Batman versus Superman because I had seen the whole movie before the movie came out. You had the fact that Batman fought Superman. You had Wonder Woman show up. You had Doomsday show up, and they all got together to fight Doomsday. You had everything but the last 5 minutes was told to you in the trailer. And that movie made like $200-something million its first weekend. So it's hard to argue that people don't go see movies because it's been spoiled for them.
Well, no, it's not been spoiled, but wouldn't it be so much better? The movie isn't ruined.
You know who didn't do that, though? Star Wars The Force Awakens kept its secrets. Now, it was pre-sold. basically you could put up like a toilet and say Star Wars, and everybody, you know, like you wouldn't have to
just like Phantom Menace.
That's exactly. Yeah, so I think Star Wars. I mean, you think about the bad guy, about Kylo Ren, Adam Driver. You never saw his face in the trailers. So in the movie, when he takes his hood off, it's a moment, but that could have easily been ruined.
Oh yeah, it still would have been like, oh dang, but it's so much more impactful. And I think if I'm making a movie, that's what I want. I want people to go in being like, okay, this movie is about this guy that does something cool. You know, I don't know.
Enough to get him there.
Yeah, and okay, this is what this does. And then you totally blow their mind. Yes. And I don't know, maybe people don't like that. Maybe people want to know, like, okay, this is exactly what I'm going to see when I go and see it. I don't know. I mean, movies have been, like we said, in the past, they didn't give much, and they've been doing well. So it'd be interesting to know why they've changed it, what the industry has done to make it switch over.
These juggernauts, these big, tentpole movies like Star Wars and stuff, they have the liberty to do that, to not show much. Yeah. So what does that mean for these lower budget and first time directors or whatever? Not a franchise that is trying to get it out there. They almost do have to do that, and so it's kind of a double-edged sword,
I guess maybe if you just give me something interesting, like if your movie's interesting, I'm gonna go see it. If it's not, I'm not gonna go see it. You can show me like half your movie, and if I think it's stupid, I'm not gonna go see it.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
So I just think that, and I don't know, like I'm just some guy in my basement talking about trailers, But
don't literally,
don't make it sound creepy, Bryce.
But that's what I have always thought. I've always thought that trailers have given away so much. But one trailer that I do think switched and made me go actually see the movie was Mad Max. Because I remember I watched it and my brain blew up because of the colors and
eyes were burned.
I didn't know what it was. I thought it was stupid. I was like, that movie looked dumb. Whatever. And then I went to another movie and saw the trailer again, and it like clicked in my brain. I was like, that looks absolutely amazing. Like, I must see this movie. And then I kind of kept up with it, like watching other little bits that came out. And I'm so glad that I went and saw it when I did, because it's amazing.
Well, can we say that
it's very good?
Mad Max Fury Road, the trailers for it are not misleading at all.
No, and they don't give you
watch
too
that,
much.
and the movie was that, but just longer.
And
it was in your face. It was crazy. It was all those things you wanted it to be. Because that's another problem I have with trailers. Okay, one problem is they give everything away. The other problem is it doesn't resemble the movie that you see in the end at all.
Yeah.
So, as far as Mad Max Fury Road, did they give away spoilers? I don't remember the trailer specifically.
I don't know how you spoil that movie,
was it just... I was in the same boat. It was a cinematic... It looked like a cinematic, like, opera on screen. Unfolding. And I was in the same boat. I have to see this. But I don't recall if it gave away specific plot points or if it was just the image.
I think it's just the car chases. I think that's all.
And here's the thing,
especially the
movie.
big one. Well, yeah, that is. So,
fair point, Cody.
It's a spoiler, but then they didn't ever. And if they did, I don't remember them. Yeah, because your brain is just taken over.
Well, and they didn't tell you a lot of the plot. I remember this. Like, there was just they just assaulted you with images and with sounds.
We
didn't
know.
The sound of cars revving and what that's
people
all it
on poles.
I know,
explosions.
They didn't tell you the story. They just said, "Here's a little bit of what we've done."
Yeah. Well, because they showed you Mad Max, they showed you him.
And I think you saw him get captured.
Did you
see him get captured?
I think so.
Which is the first 2 minutes of the movie.
But do you ever see Furiosa? I don't.
Yes, I saw. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but you don't know that the movie's pretty much about Furiosa.
Yeah, you don't know who she is in the trailer. You don't know who the wives are. You see them.
And you don't know who the war boys are. You just see them.
And you see 2 or 3 really big glory shots of Immortan Joe. I remember that.
Yeah, and it all just works together. Like, this is amazing. This is a good trailer, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it doesn't give you too much information. You couldn't really do this with any other kind of movie, but it blows your brain apart because of the colors and the noise and the
it's a sensory explosion.
Well, and the thing is, I'll tell you what, when I first saw the trailer, I had never seen any of the Mad Max movies.
Nope.
Well, I saw Thunderdome on TV once. And I I was so assaulted at first that I was like, I kind of pulled back from it.
Yeah.
I was like,
too.
like it was too much. And then I remember Bryce and I talked about it, and you'd seen it a couple times at that point, and I was like, oh, maybe I should reconsider and go back. And that's when I started to actually kind of realize that was the point, was to kind of slap you in the face with the images. I think it was really well done.
You brought up how Mad Max was a great example of a trailer that doesn't mislead the audience. I wanted to touch on this on our trailer show, that one of the most famous examples for me of a trailer misleading the audience is by one of my favorite directors, Nicholas Winding Refn, and his Drive trailer. In fact, there was a lawsuit that was actually submitted in court that he was sued over that trailer because it was so misleading. The trailer kind of makes you feel like it's like this, maybe Fast and Furious, maybe not quite, that genre, but like that type of film,
movie. Yeah.
And it was not that at all. And so, that's probably one of the greatest examples of kind of a trailer that misleads you a little bit to what it is. I was very happy and pleased with the results. If it had been the other way, I would have been disappointed. But that's a different
that'll
story.
lead up to that's a very good segue to a trailer that I remember that was misleading on purpose, and it was for a little Wes Craven horror film called Red Eye with Rachel McAdams, and it's about the story of a guy who terrorizes this lady on an airplane. It's a really well done movie, actually, but the trailer was a romantic comedy trailer. And so they have and she comes in the airport, and he comes in, and they just happen to meet on the plane. And then at the end, it switched it. And all of a sudden, he became super threatening right at the end of the trailer. And it was brilliant.
All of a sudden, he's the devil.
Yeah, and they set it up like the traditional, boy meets girl, and happy whatever. And then right at the end of the trailer, all of a sudden, he said something super psychopathic. And it was
awesome.
Brilliant. That was years ago, and I was little, and I still remember that.
That's with Cillian Murphy and Rachel McAdams, right?
Yes. And the movie didn't disappoint, actually. I liked the movie.
I love the movie.
But I love that kind of, let's play with the idea of a trailer. It doesn't happen nearly enough.
That kind of makes me think about how you have, you said that's the boy meets girl trailer. And I was thinking, we've been talking about the movies that we like to watch, which are all like action and all those kind of movies. But I guess each trailer has to be different. Like with each different, genre, it has to be a different trailer. Because with, let's say, Batman vs. Superman, I think the perfect trailer that they should have kept was just the teaser trailer.
Yeah,
perfect.
Remind me what the teaser trailer was.
It was, I think you saw the statue.
That's right. And then it just said false god.
False god.
Yeah.
And then you see Batman, and he says you're going to bleed or something like that.
That was really good, yeah.
And you're like, holy cow.
What else
is
do you
amazing.
need?
Yeah. And so I'm seeing it. Like I was going to see it right after that trailer. Didn't need anything else. Mm-hmm. But like with movies like drama movies or like chick flick movies, you kind of need more.
Well, can I give you an example of a trailer that I think probably ruins the movie? But all right, anyway, it's The Pursuit of Happiness.
Okay. With
Will Smith, right? It's the true story of the guy who's super poor with his son, and he makes good, and yada yada. A couple of movies I own have that trailer on them before, and I usually skip trailers. I always watch that one. Because it's just like, there's something about it so uplifting, and at the end I feel so happy. And does that give away the fact? Well, and if you're brain dead if you think you're going to go to a movie with Will Smith and his son that's sold as this uplifting drama, and then he doesn't make good at the end. Mass suicides in movie theaters. But like something about that really and it's not even that it doesn't make me want to see the movie. I don't run off to watch the movie.
It's just a feel-good
I just have 2 minutes of I can do it. Yeah. And so I guess there's something to be said for that as well. That, like you said, different tones have to be struck. That actually is there's the fake Shining trailer. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I just want to bring this up.
We watched that in film class.
Do you get any enjoyment from that? From recut trailers?
Yeah,
you guys like watching those?
I do.
I love them.
And my favorite,
Mary Poppins. It's great.
Scary Mary. Yeah. The first one I ever saw was the Shining recut as a dramatic, uplifting family drama.
Yeah,
and he's hugging people, and it's playing guitar music, and he's running down the hall, and at the end It's like, you may discover something new, and it goes, da-da-da, shining, and it got rid of the, like, it was hilarious.
Yeah,
it's all about tone. It's all about, you can use...
Yeah, definitely.
That's what tells you trailers can be totally misleading, because they just take images, and it's all about the music and the rhythm of the editing and all those stuff. But I love these fan-made trailers. Some of them are better than the actual trailers that come out.
I guess, but what I was trying to...
Sorry, go back,
to point at would be like, so like, you have Legally Blonde.
Yes.
If they just show her like walking down like Harvard Law School and then cut, you're gonna be like what?
In cinemas. Yeah, no.
Like that's stupid. But then how do you do that without giving too much of the movie away? Or do you watch that movie and not really care?
So here's my theory. I think that horror films and action films are able to sell the premise of their movies easier than comedy and drama.
Without spoiling
things. Because you have an atmosphere that you're trying to... in a horror film, you're like... It gives you this creepy feeling. You don't have to show maybe as much. But with the drama, I mean, you kind of have to sell it. Otherwise, who's going to go see this thing?
That's true. That's true.
Well, okay, let's talk about a trailer, the movie we haven't seen yet. Unless you had something else you want to bring up.
No.
Okay. Silence. Have you all seen the trailer for Silence for Scorsese's new movie?
No, I have not.
Okay, well that's fine. We don't have to watch it.
I think I have. Oh,
it's
I don't remember.
One about Andrew Garfield plays the monk.
Oh no, I want to
find Liam Neeson.
Yeah. I need to see it.
All right, that's. I should recommend everybody's listening to this. Go watch that if you haven't seen it, because that's how you sell a drama. Is they show the beginning of the story, right? You get the setup for it, which you probably see in the first 10 minutes of the film, and then you show. This film's all about suffering, I guess, because you just show. You get the tone of it. You can sell the tone of a drama without giving things away, I think. And I think that one was really sold really well. This is a gorgeous movie. You can sell imagery, and you can also sell that there's going to be a lot of intense stuff. So how do you do that? You show, like... this happens a lot, too. People screaming in trailers.
Yeah.
And, like, Crash did that. I remember that. Like, there was a shot from Crash where, like, he's grabbing his daughter, and he's like... Yeah. That's even the poster, isn't it?
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, something in us wants drama that's so dramatic that you have to scream to the heavens. But that's in Silence, actually. There's Andrew Garfield's rolling around on a mat screaming his head off. So it's interesting that you can try and sell the tone of drama. I don't know how you sell comedy without ruining it. But
that makes me think, you said that Pearl Harbor was a really good trailer.
Oh my gosh.
And technically I would say Pearl Harbor is kind of like a weird war drama type thing.
Pearl Harbor is a weird ward poo.
Okay.
It's like if you eat bad Mexican food and then you're in the bathroom for 2 hours. That's the experience of Pearl Harbor, the film.
See, I was so impressed by Pearl Harbor because it was on 2 DVDs. And I was like, dude, this movie's intense. And I remember I couldn't watch it. My mom and dad and their friends were watching it, and we had to go downstairs. And I remember like coming upstairs, and they were like switching DVDs. And I was like, oh my gosh, this thing's huge.
And then with Braveheart.
And then it was like, I remember, I don't even really remember it.
The trailer, what the trailer sold the movie as was this really like respectful, intense recreation of Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, I remember the bomb coming down.
Yeah, they had that whole shot of following the bomb all the way down, and Cuba Gooding Jr. screaming to the heavens again. And, like all those things, planes flying over. It looked amazing.
Uh-huh.
And then when you watch the movie, there was about an hour and a half of a Ben Affleck. I love Ben Affleck now, but at the time, Ben Affleck, Josh Hartnett love triangle thing, which was not even really hinted at in the movie.
They're running through the sheets, I remember, or maybe they're not the sheets, but they're like the
it's laundry. It's out there drying,
and it's like all awkward. I remember, I was like, "Ooh, dang, this is." I understand why I couldn't watch this movie.
Then you see Liv Tyler, and you're like, yeah.
So, I mean, my point of bringing up Pearl Harbor was that they kind of sold it as this awesome war action movie.
Yes.
And like that was before all the ones that we've seen now. But like Pearl Harbor,
it was post Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan.
I remember thinking, wow, the next Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. So you're like, this is going to be great, and then it's not.
No,
they just added an hour of crap, and you're like, don't do that.
Well, and it was really weird to mix this soap opera with this really serious, tragic event where like hundreds of people died.
Which not to discredit the actual scenarios that took place back
Yeah.
then, there was a lot of drama and romantic,
yeah.
which was portrayed in Hacksaw Ridge really well.
Yes.
I mean, there were people getting married all the time before they left, and so that is part of that.
Hacksaw Ridge is how you do that.
That's true.
Yeah.
And see, the thing that, and yeah, there's all this drama, but I think where they like lost me definitely is when they have the love triangle thing, you know, and then he's the baby's dad, you know. It's just like stop.
Well, and also for me, I hated the whole Pearl Harbor's getting bombed, and Ben Affleck and Josh Hartnett. They jump in the only 2 planes left.
Yeah.
They take off and they take out the Japanese. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
People were just dying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I hate that false heroics that we're going to put on top
Which
of
is
it.
why Saving Private Ryan did it so well.
People crying, screaming, trying to get away.
Because they didn't have anyone be the superhero.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
I mean, you could have had Tom Hanks just like run up and like destroy
slow
him.
motion. And,
He like picks up like a nuke and like throws it. Like no, he just did. You know, he got like.
Well, and I love the
blasted
fact
and,
that
like,
everybody
looked around.
Tom Hanks tries to save dies.
Yeah.
Like he grabs this guy, he gets shot. He grabs this guy, gets blown in half. He grabs. Anyway, we're off topic. But I will bring it back to trailers with the trailer for Saving Private Ryan. Which, if I'm looking at my dates, I was wrong about episode 1. The first one I ever watched must have been Saving Private Ryan, because that was the year before episode 1. I remember what it was. It had music behind it, and it said, in a war, you know, that they're the courage to save one man. It talked about there was one guy they're going to save. And it showed these still photos, which looked like actual World War II photos. They weren't. But they were shots from the film, but they were still, and they would fade in and out with this music. And then at the end, they had one more still photo, and then it went into motion. And an explosion went off, and it showed a couple shots of them actually fighting and stuff. And that was one of the most effective trailers I remember seeing. And it sold the movie. That's what the movie was. It felt so authentic that it could have been taken off actual World War II photographs. You know, so I liked that. That was really well done.
Another that brings up the short like burst is Dunkirk.
Yes.
I mean, it makes me want. I'm like, I want another trailer, but I don't.
I just want the movie. I want the movie.
Exactly. I want to see it now.
Yeah,
And
you're
part
like,
of that
what?
may have been content. I mean, they didn't quite have all of it there. It was kind of a teaser, but
yeah,
that was perfect for me. And plus, I mean, it's Nolan, so obviously I'll be there.
But I mean, that really makes me, you know, where it says you just see them like all look up.
You
and
don't
you're
see
like,
what they're looking at.
Oh crap!
You just hear the noise.
Yeah.
It's so brilliant.
It's awesome.
Good.
Can I
That's
say
good
I wish he would have done that with Dark Knight Rises, when Alfred looks at the table with Bruce and Catwoman. Don't show Bruce and Catwoman.
Yeah.
Just see it. Anyway, sorry. That's really a tangent. Anyway, back to trailers. So,
I think
anything else we wanted to bring up trailer wise?
I think that we started off saying trailers are stupid, but I think they're good.
There's some examples
for
some good
certain
ones.
movies, and I don't think we really have lots of answers.
And you got to beat the drum somehow. You got to get people to like you're saying with your wife. You have to get people like your wife just to know there's a Star Wars movie coming out somehow.
Exactly. Yeah, trailers definitely have a place, and I think you sometimes they oversell them. You can't. Every movie can't follow the same pattern.
Right. No, it requires a lot of creativity.
And I think
or
that's
it
kind
could,
of
if it was done right.
Plus, those ones that oversell it make you appreciate the ones that don't.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that's one thing that if you're listening, trailer guy, look at your movie and then adjust it. You know, like don't show me. Like I kind of guess with like I'm thinking about this like Passengers movie. You know, I think it'd be really cool if they like showed them. I don't know if this will work, but for me it would. If they like showed them waking up and they said like hello, and like they're running up and down, and then they run into each other.
Passengers.
And then
That's
it's Passengers, and you're like,
Yeah.
what's this? Interesting. But I also understand and accepting that not every movie can just be that way. You know, not every movie, like Legally Blonde, you can't just tease it. You have to kind of like, okay, this is what we're going to talk about. Yeah. So, hey, trailer man, you've got a difficult job, and
well, there's more than one, but yes.
Well, yeah. And as a group,
you know, it'd be interesting
Go
to
ahead.
see if there's a common, linkage between the art the artists that are, the editors that are. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that
what
are
they
making
do.
them.
They're not the film editors that are doing the trailers for them. There's trailer editors, I assume.
Suicide Squad.
Right, exactly. What? I haven't seen.
No.
This.
So this is
Fill me in.
Yeah, I'm like speechless.
That was
now
like
because
lightning
it's
hit at the same time there. Yeah.
But before, if you listen to our Suicide Squad, it wasn't really a review; it was more like a smashing. But we talk about how I don't even remember the trailer company's name.
Yeah. I don't remember. Trailer Park. I think it was Trailer Park.
But like Brent, there's like actual companies that make the trailers for these movies, and Suicide Squad got like remastered by this,
got re-edited by the trailer company.
by the trailer company instead of what the director.
Man, can you ever tell?
You can tell. You can tell the trailer and the movie. They're the same, but it's like one huge horrible trailer.
Yes.
It's
true. You never get any details about people. You only get little snippets of things. You get a lot of on-screen text. You get a lot of pop songs. It is. It's a 2-hour long trailer.
So I wonder if there's a trailer company that does it right every time, and then
interesting.
Other companies that get it wrong.
I will say this: Suicide Squad had amazing trailers.
Yeah,
I thought the trailers were fantastic.
I was
except
excited
for the fact that I knew the Indian guy was going to die. Because you see him at the beginning, they introduce him, and then later on, he's never with the group. So,
which is so disappointing, too. Another.
So trailers can give away things like that, too. And there are things on the internet. 2 things I want to talk about before we close. We're at church. Before we end, is who's giving the benediction? No, the thing where people on the internet. There's 2 things they do. There are trailer reviews. And there are trailer reactions. So there are whole groups of people that get a lot more views or downloads than we do by just sitting on their couch and watching a trailer, and people watch their face watch the trailer.
I've never seen one of those. Are they fun to watch? I mean, what's so interesting about it?
I don't know.
Are they like cartoon characters? I mean,
some of them oversell things,
Really?
and you can tell that it was their 4th try, so they could really make it look, whatever. But there is something kind of like... there's also an interesting thing. This is a small, is they have audio recordings of audiences responding to certain parts of movies, and those I like to listen to because I want to see what people respond to and what they don't. And trailers are kind of the same way. You see what people respond to. Now, a lot of these they don't work for that because it's like the Spider-Man trailer, for example. You know that everybody's gonna freak out when Spider-Man shows up for the first time, and this and that. It's kind of inane. But the thing that I find even more interesting is these trailer reviews, where they do shot-by-shot analysis of trailers. They'll pause it, they'll say, look, and this is no joke, in the background you have this, and that is from this comic book issue, and that tells me this is going to be this arc in that movie. And they can tell you tons about the movie just by dissecting
I could see me being really interested in that after seeing the movie. Like, I don't think that appeals to me before at all.
No,
but
it ruins stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what some people do. They just rip into it,
It's very interesting.
But I do get myself caught every now and then watching these reactions. Like, I wonder what they thought.
I remember you telling me that about the last Star Wars, the big one, and you telling me
so much weeping.
Yeah, people are
so
just like bawling.
Weeping.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Especially girls. Like, as soon as the music would start, they just like fall into this blubbering mess. And I was just like, my gosh! Like, Star Wars is the reason I get up in the morning. But I've never cried about it, Like, it's just...
like, I like a lot of stuff, not enough to cry.
I mean, we are guys, which is a different thing.
Never.
I do cry in films sometimes, not trailers.
Okay, but that's a movie, like movies. I mean, we have a whole show on it, but like, there's nothing that I like enough that if I saw it or I went to it or anything. To cry,
just bawl.
It is.
It's like religion in some ways,
which is amazing. And I'm almost jealous in a way. Like that'd be so cool. Like I don't have it.
It's like the double rainbow guy. Like they just fawn over. Like you know what I mean? Like so, the correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to remember the Paranormal Activity. I think that's one of the first ones that I ever saw that I think they did show the audience reaction.
Yeah,
yes.
they did.
Right?
Yes.
Of them being scared.
And that is totally a scary movie thing now.
Yeah.
'Cause you have that ultraviolet green, whatever, and people are freaking out and through. That works, though.
It does.
Like, it got me the first time, especially. I was
is-
like, dang, that looks scary.
Can I do a little shout out to me?
Yeah, sure.
So I vied to help get this film, and it may have been a whole gimmick thing to build publicity around it, which it probably was, but I helped get it to my local theater here, did the little petition thing and whatever, and my name's actually on the credit of the DVD at the very end. If you pause it,
that's
you can
cool.
Which movie
see
is
my
this?
name. Paranormal Activity.
No crap. Really?
Yeah.
That's
I'm
pretty
serious.
Your
cool.
name's on the credits? If you've
Yes,
been part of the
if there's-
film cast
there's
back
like-
then, we could have put that.
There's like 1,000 other people. You have to pause it. I mean, it goes fast, but they thank the supporters for helping get it into the theaters because
that's cool.
apparently it was so kind of new that people didn't want.
I
to
remember
do that.
that.
So
I remember that. I remember that it was really small and they were having a hard time getting it to
the
places.
funding it costs a lot of money just to get it into not
theater.
select theaters, but into the
Nationwide.
wide release.
Yeah, that's
So-
cool.
Wow.
Well, I
That's a
don't
great
think
way to end, yeah. Nobody can trump that.
cool. But so trailers, they're good, they're bad, they have their place.
Yeah.
Well, this has been the Valhalla Filmcast. I am Bryce Thompson,
I'm Brian Hammond.
And I'm Cody Rowry.
and we'll talk to you next time.
The following views, opinions, and commentary are the sole property of the Valhalla Filmcast. Any unauthorized reproduction without prior consent is prohibited. Any incidental music, audio clips, or film trailers are used for the sole purpose of film criticism and commentary as allowed under the Fair Use Act.